Hi guys, it's Jill, and today I'm gonna be doing a Dragonfly horse life or something, horse edition. We's not. Well, that's a horse. Yep. Congratulations. Quickly figured out that racing with the pencil eraser is way too slow. So I found a rag, and I wiped with rag. So my addiction to horses all started in preschool. Praise God. That's where it all started. I was drawing these My Little Ponies out of the book where they tell you to like draw the circle and stuff, and then with the lines and everything. So I thought I was really good when I wasn't like good at all. Furthering the horse addiction, my father once took me to one of his buddies, I guess was on the police force with him, that had horses. Took me to his farm, and I was absolutely amazed because they had a horse with spots on it! Her name was Rosie. She was very cool until I fell off of her. So I put on my little helmet and my crazy eyes and saddled up in the western saddle on Lay Little Rosie, and Rosie was like, sit down. So, anyway, I hopped aboard the little pony and we set off onto our journey. It was fenced in, they had a really cool like corral looking thing. Dad was like, oh, you're doing great. Until he decided that I could do better than I was doing. So when I was riding, of course, I didn't know anything, and the trot was inscrutable bouncy. And my dad was like, hey, kick, and she'll go faster. It'll be smoother. Swear. I was like, alright, okay, bro's plan, Dad. Good one. So I continued to kick Rosie, but little did I know, Rosie understood what the purpose of barrels were. And I didn't, and she was all, barrel! So I was like kicking, and she was like, nah, I don't want to go faster. And I was like, well, what's the issue? And as soon as we came around the barrel, she was like, yeah, I got mad skills. And then she did a barrel horse move and totally took off. I don't remember going around the barrel, I just remember terror, because I knew. And then she flew, and she took off, and she was going very, very fast. She was having lots of fun. Why am I being such a perfectionist on my drawing? Like, this is not good. And I was like, uh-oh, this is bad. So Rosie takes off, and I took a bite out of the dirt, and I decided she was too tall to be far away. And so my dad was like, ooh, this was bad. I should have known that my child was tiny and couldn't ride. And since I took a big bite of dirt, my dad was like, yo, eat some water, or drink it. You don't eat water. Anyway, it tasted really awful, and it was bad decisions all around. So, at some point around 2nd grade, I decided that horses were no longer my favorite animal since I never saw them, and I was like, I got cats are supreme, they rule the planet, awesome. And then my friend showed up a few days later in her Bermuda shorts and half chaps at school. And I was like, yo, what are you wearing? And she was like, I'm going riding this afternoon. And I was like, oh God, horses. Can I come? And she was like, sure. So I did. So the first horse out at Hilltop that I rode was named Sissy. And she was tiny. And she looked like a llama and was spotted and ugly. And I was like, I want a big horse. And this is what happened. And I never ever rode a pony ever again after that. Just kidding, I've ridden some. But anyway, I got on a big horse named Bingo, and he was absolute fabulous. And my friend was like, can I ride English? My trainer was like, show. And I was like, oh God, me too. And my friend was like, you haven't been riding very long. And I was like, so? And so me and Bingo decided to conquer the world. He was 20 years old. He was pretty awesome. It was also at this point that I decided I would no longer ride with the saddle. And then Miss Deborah was like, yo, I'm moving 3 hours away. And we were all upset. And so I went to the new barn and found this new lady, and she was like, yo, I do English. And I was like, awesome. So, and she was like, we do eventing. And I was like, I don't care, do you jump? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, cool. So on our first lesson, I had Bingo tied to a post, and she was like, oh God, you have to put on a saddle. And I was like, what? No. So I was very unhappy about that. After time went on, me and Bingo started competing in little Osher shows where we jumped like 2 foot, and we got some ribbons, and it was pretty cool. We won some pretty cool stuff. And eventually Paula was like, look, you gotta get a bigger horse. It's time for one that can actually do eventing. Bingo's too old. And I was like, no, never, not doing that. No, I refuse. So this little girl named Morgan that was really stupid bought him. I hate her. She was not nice. And I had to say goodbye to Beau. And then the horse search began. And around 4th grade, we drove down to Louisiana. That's what that's supposed to be. And there was this little horse named Dragonfly. He was very, very cute. He was shedded out up front and fuzzy on his butt. It was really weird. It was the first horse I looked at, and he had only ever done fox hunting and hunters, and I was like, eventing. He was actually an Amish horse, and they were like, pull it up a hill, and he was like, nah. So they sold him. And I quickly fell in love with him, and he took me all the way up through training from beginner novice. Hey hooty ha ha, when horse shows began, dressage, show jump, I had no problems with any of those, and cross country was the most terrifying thing that existed on the face of the earth of ever, and also the moon. Somewhere in there, I finally realized that I loved the sport and I absolutely could do it. And then me and Dragonfly started placing in the top 5 and competed all the way up through training. And it was awesome. But he stopped making time on cross country because he was too slow, and my trainer was like, we gotta sell him. So we drove Dragonfly down to this barn in Georgia because this trainer that I'm good friends with had a lady that she thought would be a good fit for Dragonfly since he was so safe. And she was a little crazy. She was kind of like a mermaid, and she was a little afraid of Dragonfly. But she was like, I'll take him on a trial for a month. And we were like, sure. And we shook on it. And then I was like, hey, Dad, my friend's down in Florida trying horses. It's only 5 hours away. Let's go! So the first horse I looked at was named Mo, and we jumped, or he was jumping 4 foot when I got there, and I was like, wow! And he turned out to be way older than we thought he was. And so then I met Beau, and he had 11 staples in his forehead and was really skinny, and I was like, this is ugly. And when I rode him, I was really scared of him, and the first few jumps, they were like, jump that, and I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done riding this one. And since Mo turned out to be way older than we thought, they were like, you can choose from any of the horses that we looked with, or you can just go back home with that one. And I was like, of course, I'll pick the one that I liked the least. So we bought Beau when he was 11, and he'd done a few trials, and my dad was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I'll like him at some point, it'll be fine. So we got Beau home, and he ran around, and he was like, this is the best place ever. And eventually, we developed a bond, and I became very close with him, and I fell in love with him through better or for worse, because we got married. And then I met Zoe, who was 3 and off the track, and her owner approached me and was like, yo, you've ridden some of these, so let's do this. And so I started competing her, and kind of fell in love with the aspect of retraining off the track thoroughbreds, and I was like, this is what I want. And so even though I was absolutely in love with both of my ponies, I was like, it's time to sell them. I really want a new OTTB, and I want it to be mine. It's for me, and so put both of those horses up for sale because it's time for them to go teach someone else. So I'm excited for what's to come, and I hope you guys can join me. And make sure to give this video a like and comment what you want to see next. And be sure you hit subscribe so that you get notified when I make new videos. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Farewell!